How you doing, folks? Just a quick one from me today then, guys. Big shout out to all the year sixes doing their SATs exams today. Man, come on, man, with the negativity on social media about all this pressure and all this, they're too young to do a test and whatnot. Pressure is going to swim for the first time. Pressure's going to have your first boxing match. Pressure's the first time to climb up a tree. Pressure's the first, walking into the unknown, like a new school. And come on, man, a test that they've been doing for, they've been training for the last 6 years is a walk in the park, really. If you've encouraged your kids to do well, and give them a lot of the, the do's and the don'ts, and allowed them to revise and allowed them to, how can I put it? Just allow them to do better things with themselves and encourage them and make them feel like, these mean something. Because a lot of people are saying the SATs, they're no good. It doesn't matter if you fail them. Now, being a teacher myself, SATs are imperative. They are a massive thumbs up. You need to make sure that your children do their best in their SATs. And the reason for it, if you're not understanding what they are, basically it's just a standard test. Now, think about it this way. You've sent your children to a school, a specific school in your area, right? So you've sent them there to do well. So you've sent them there to learn, be educated, to understand the ethos of the whole school, etc. Now, isn't it right that the school at the end of year 6 retest them children to see how they've been over the past 6 years? Of course it is. It's like us going to university for 3 or 4 years to do a degree and then failing it. And the only reason why we failed it is because we wasn't really encouraged, we didn't really apply ourselves to it. We only have fault to ourselves. Now, I understand that these youngsters are small and we care about them as parents, but trust me, guys, they've been training for this little test for 6 years. Everything that these teachers and support workers have done, the LSAs, etc., they've given your child, he or she, the best chance of passing these tests. So, try not to be so negative on social media and stuff and saying, like, they get tested when they get to year 7. Yeah, absolutely they do. So they get tested in year 7, and the reason for getting tested in year 7 is basically the results from the school, which government say, wow, your children have done really well at that school, they've got, they've passed it. When they go into year 7, they'll get re-evaluated again, so they'll do another test. So what the school does, they go, right, your son or daughter passed his SATs at this level. Sorry guys, I'm in the van, I'm just driving down to the shop. Your son has just passed his SATs at this level. So what we're going to do, we're going to give you, might be a little bit of a different paper, but we're going to give you another test now. So if your son or daughter passes, they're going to go boom straight into, like, the higher level of what that class is. If your son or daughter failed their SATs, they're not going to send them into the higher class in year 7 if they failed their SATs, because it's going to be way too above for their educational level. So it's a case of, okay, you failed your SATs at school, as some people say, no biggie, but when you go and have another test at year 7, you will be sort of in the middle or the bottom sets of these lessons. So 9 times out of 10, me being in the educational world, I've seen at the bottom of these sets you get naughty kids. So when you get naughty kids, no disrespect to people out there, I love working with naughty kids because I sort of bring them on, but when you've got naughty children in the bottom sets of the individual lessons, like maths, English and science, the important things, and ICT, the important lessons, all it does is become distractions. So what distractions do then? Your child gets distracted because personally they should be in a higher level, but there was no encouragement to do SATs. So they should have been in a higher class. So if they're in a lower class and they're getting into all this mischief, then all of a sudden it's the teacher's fault. Now, personally, me, encouragement for your children to do well, revision and stuff like that, is gonna clearly benefit these youngsters in their SATs. All it is just a standard test. So yeah, some people on social media, they're saying, yeah, it's only for the school for their results. Of course it is, because why would you want to send your child to a school that's got shit SAT test results? Doesn't that mean something? Doesn't that mean like what they're learning in that class from year 1 to year 6 hasn't benefited anything at all? It hasn't benefited anybody with their SAT result at all. So if the school say, yeah, we've got great results in our SATs, ain't that good for the up and coming youngsters of the family? Yeah, we can send our kids to this school because their SATs result was absolutely on point. But if they're shit and you know, yeah, obviously you don't send them to that school, because whatever's being learned from year 1 to year 6 ain't really benefiting your child, so it ain't going to benefit no one else's. So the results are imperative for the school, because yeah, the school have to have, you know, the best levels to run their school. Obviously, of course they do, because the government keep an eye on them. So once they've got all them higher levels, it's benefit for your children. So when people are saying, don't worry about going to school today and failing these SATs, that's bad. That's really, really bad. That's like saying to your kids, go on, you can go swimming lessons on Thursday, but if you fail it, don't worry, we'll do it again. It's bad. It's really bad. In my opinion. Like I say, everybody's got an opinion. They're like arseholes, are they? Everybody's got one. It just depends on if you want to use it or not. But trust me, encourage your kids to do well. Don't say that SATs ain't like really, really important, because trust me, you're failing your kids. I don't care. Somebody can come into the comments, somebody can give me the biggest argument as you want. I work in education, I see it. I see the development of people in low ability classes. They can't elevate because they're stuck in the bottom classes, where all the mischief is, where all the shouting is, where all the bullshit is, basically. And then when they fail their GCSE exams, because they've been in the lower classes for the last fucking 3 years, because they picked options in year 10, it's the teacher's fault. But it all stems from day dot, SATs, GCSEs, A-levels, which determines them to go to college or university. If you don't want your kids to do any of this or better themselves, why send them to school in the first place? Homeschool them. If you think, you know, if you think you're better than the actual teacher. But trust me, a little bit of pressure is good, because pressure is, like I said to you before, going to your first boxing match, going to your first football match, you know, going to climb a big tree on your own, tying your shoelaces on your own, walking to school on your own, meeting new people. That's pressure, guys, not sitting at a test that they've been training for 6 years. Come on, parents, look after your kids the right way. And I can speak on behalf of this, guys. I'm a teacher, I'm a qualified teacher. I understand exactly how important year 6 SATs are. Like I say, guys, you can come in the comments, you can give me whatever you want to give me. I'll stand by my decision, and I'll stand by exactly what I'm saying. You're failing your kids if you think that SATs are not a key part of your children's education, because it's a test for a reason. You get tested, you move into sets, you move into the right sets. If your kid's a bright spark, he'll move into the right set. If he's failed his sets in SATs, he's going to be in a low set when he gets into year 7. Because if he fails his SATs, he will fail his on arrival year 7 test. Fact. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Fingers crossed. Because I believe every kid should be, you know, progressing in life and, you know, and moving forward and reaching for the stars. If you miss the star, land on the moon. You know what I mean? That's the old saying. But trust me, encourage your kids to do well, because the society that we live in now, it's not a good one, to be fair. So, but if you are educated and you do well with your exams and get the right results, you get a good job, you can move out the areas, you can do better things, happy days. Okay guys, just a little rant from me today guys, because I'm passionate about this, obviously being a teacher myself. So yeah, send this video to somebody who's really not giving people that pat on the back, or the negativity around school, or giving the teachers an hard time about the SATs and the pressure. Come on, our pressures guys are paying bills. Our pressures of, you know, making sure that our kids go to the right school, and make sure that they get the right education, that they're, you know, them in the right places, you know, getting the right teachers for the day, and getting the right food for the day, and getting, come on, a kid doing a little mini couple of tests over the space of 4 days that they've been training for 6 years. A really bad pressure, is it really? I understand as parents, you know what I mean, cotton wool, come on. Half of you be taking them boxing and karate tonight. That's pressure when they've got to go and have a fight with someone, or, you know what I'm saying, the first skipping competition or the first swimming test. Come on guys, man up, we're strong. Send it to somebody if you feel that you need to send this to somebody, because I'm really passionate about it. But I hope to God everybody who's in year 6 today, across the country, across the world, doing their SATs today, I really wish them a massive good luck, and I really hope they do you guys proud, because I hope my little lad does well today. But I think he will. He's done exactly what he needed to do. He's done all his revision, went to bed early, he's been hydrated, he's had plenty of food, he's been encouraged, he understands the journey of what SATs are. And love for adults guys, just educate yourself. If you're not in the educated sector yourself guys, just go on SATs, go on to the government website and just have a look, just have a look and see why they're in, you know, why SATs are introduced and why they need to be introduced and what comes from that afterwards. Because to be honest with you, me when I was a young lad, I never understood what SATs was. I never understood what GCSEs was. Probably, to be honest, it's like a case of you sort of learn, but if you haven't got parents who understand these type of things, it's a case of we sort of deviate ourselves through life. But nowadays guys, the internet allows us to actually go on site, do a lot of looking, understand it, just sit down with your child and just say, look, these are why these are imperative to get right, and try and pass these, because the journey onwards, it leads to something. Okay guys, thank you and good luck to all year 6 today. God bless, see you again.